Raceway Park. Green flag is out. Turn number 1, side by side, Devin Gilpin, your leader. Stapleton second, Whitney in third. Here comes Ethan Burgess in fourth spot. Devin Gilpin out front. He's going to lead lap number 1. Gilpin leads Stapleton second. Whitney, Ethan Burgess, and Dwayne Chamberlain, your top 5. Nick Latham sits in 6th spot. Problems in turn number 4 as Keegan Cox gets sideways. Keegan Cox gets sideways. Mike Myers with no place to go. Joe Brewer with no place to go. And you see Daniel Shelton and Rusty Yarger all involved there. Whitney gets the jump to the outside. Stapleton fights back underneath him. Here comes Dwayne Chamberlain on the bottom. Still Gilpin out front, Stapleton second. Dwayne Chamberlain now has worked his way to third. Here comes Ethan Burgess. Those two working the high side. Whitney on the bottom, Chad Stapleton on the bottom. Nick Latham working the middle of the racetrack. Chamberlain now jumps to the bottom, and here comes Ethan Burgess on the high side. Burgess goes around Whitney on the high side, and Nick Latham goes underneath him. Nick Latham now works up to 5th position. Meanwhile, out front, it's still Devin Gilpin, your leader. Chad Stapleton runs second. Here comes Ethan Burgess putting some pressure on Chamberlain. Burgess now works the high side of Dwayne Chamberlain, and here comes Ethan Burgess on the high side. He's up to third. Here comes Nick Latham on the bottom. Latham going to work the bottom of the racetrack. Gilpin still out front, Stapleton second. Ethan Burgess in 3rd position. Nick Latham now worked his way up to 4th. As Burgess working the high side of the racetrack, your leaders working the bottom. Gilpin now in some heavy traffic. Gilpin puts Sheldon a lap down, is about to lap the 22 machine of Rusty Yarger. Gilpin still out front, about 10 car lengths. Stapleton runs second. Stapleton, Burgess split, and your leader breaks. Devin Gilpin slows off at turn number 4. He's going to pull through the infield. Athlete 15 to go. Chad Stapleton, Ethan Burgess, Dwayne Chamberlain, Nick Latham, and John Whitney. Stapleton leads down the backstretch. Here comes Nick Latham on the bottom. Latham now putting some pressure on Chamberlain for that 3rd spot. Off of turn number 4. Latham going to take over that 3rd spot. Chamberlain fighting back on the high side. Coming to halfway this time by. Still Chad Stapleton, Ethan Burgess. 3 as Burgess turns underneath the Chamberlain. Burgess retakes 2nd position. Here comes Nick Latham on the bottom. Meanwhile, Chad Stapleton about 4 car lengths out front. Stapleton leads. Burgess back up to 2nd. Nick Latham on the bottom. John Whitney working the middle of the racetrack as that Ohio 1 machine, just like last week, working the bottom of the racetrack. Still Stapleton and Burgess 3 wide for 3rd. 3 very distinct racing lines. Problems on the backstretch as Paul Moore gets into the wall. The 81 machine of Paul Moore rides the wall down the backstretch. That 81 machine got up against the wall. Stapleton, Burgess, Chamberlain, Latham, and Whitney, your top 5. Prince, Shannon, Arnold, Myers. Green flag is out, and again, Chamberlain goes to the bottom of the racetrack, pulls a slide job on Burgess. Here comes Nick Latham and Burgess back past Chamberlain. Up front, it's Chad Stapleton, Nick Latham now up to 2nd, Burgess in 3rd spot. Burgess slides up the racetrack. How about this, ladies and gentlemen? Great racing action again in our late model feature event. And the caution is going to come out again. This time for the 10 machine of Mike Myers as he stops. Flag again. Chad Stapleton out front. Nick Latham now restarts in second position. Again, Nick Latham gets a good restart. He challenges Stapleton down the backstretch into turn number 3. Latham working the middle of the racetrack. John Whitney working the middle of the racetrack. Yarger and Daniel Shelton come together, so Shelton and Yarger get together in turn number 4. We'll bring out another cross. Again, Nick Latham dives to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side off of 2. Meanwhile, Whitney putting some pressure on Burgess as Whitney going to work the bottom of the racetrack. John Whitney now working up to third position. 5 laps to go. 5 laps to go. This time by. Again, Chad Stapleton out front. Nick Latham second. John Whitney working the bottom of the racetrack once again. Whitney got that Ohio 1 machine working on the bottom. He's now battling for second spot. Burgess now going to go to the bottom with Whitney and see if he can make it work. Meanwhile, Chad Stapleton pounding the high side of the racetrack. He's out front. Stapleton, your leader. Whitney now still battling with Nick Latham for second. Chamberlain and Burgess battling. Chad Stapleton out front. Whitney battling for Latham for second position. Half a lap remains for your leader out of Edinburgh, Indiana. Off of turn number 4, Chad Stapleton's going to take the win. Nick Latham comes home second. Whitney in third. Ethan Burgess in fourth. And Dwayne Chamberlain in fifth spot.
Chad Stapleton.
All right, hey, go get the little man.
Hey, you want the flag too?
You ready?
Give him a kiss.